Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Happiness Overloaded. Today we are going to talk about jade plant. You can see this plant, how beautifully it is grown, and also you can see how green it is. See, and if I touch, the leaves are not falling. As you can see, the leaves are not falling. Even if you touch harder, I'll explain more about how to take care of this plant and what I have done that leaves are not falling even in September month. I'll explain more about this plant in this video. If you could see my previous videos, you can see my jade plant and it is not this tall. Now it has really grown little tall, and you see. And also if you could see, I'll turn around. This is actually, you can see the green leaves at only one side. This side, if you see that only turned the other side, because the most sunlights are coming the other side, not this side. So that's why you could see all the back side of the leaves here. And if I turn here, you could see all the front side of the leaves. Let's know about this plant. This jade plant belongs to succulent family, and I know I've read some articles, or I've seen many videos saying this plant is kind of a money plant, but as per my knowledge, it is not a money plant. It is actually belong to a succulent family.
This plant is called even bonsai plant because this plant can be grown like a tree, but a small tree. The stem, what you can see, the stem you can grow a thicker, like like this much or a bigger than this. You can grow thicker stem, and then once it will grow a little big, and then you can give a shape like a tree, right? When you'll have, like, I would say, the 4 or 5 inches of plant, but it looks like a tree. So it is also called jade bonsai plant. So now, how do you consider this plant, whether it is a low maintenance plant or high maintenance plant? As per my knowledge, I would consider this plant as medium, because it is not that every day you have to bother about this plant, but you cannot ignore as well. You will have to keep an eye on this plant, but you can also leave as it is for a couple of days, not watering or not taking care of this plant, or not even watching. So I would consider this plant as a medium. And I would also recommend you, if you're starting a new home garden, or if looking for some plant to buy your home, this is a good indoor plant that you could buy. Watering for this plant, so this is the difficult phase where people faces, the watering part. So how do you water this plant? You don't have to water this plant every day, because if you overwater this plant, the leaves, what you see, they can fall, or they turn yellow or something, and then brown, then eventually they'll die. So you don't have to water this plant every day. You can consider watering this plant 3 to 4 days. Otherwise, you can check the soil. If I can go to my soil, see the soil, see my soil is wet, right? So you can check the soil. If the top soil, or 2 inches of the soil is wet, you don't have to water. If the soil is dry, and then only you can water this plant. And then another indication that this plant gives you that she is thirsty is that the leaves start falling. Even if you just go and touch, they'll not have the strength to stay. If you touch like this, they will fall. It means they are thirsty, they have lack of water. So you can that time water thoroughly. When you water this plant, water thoroughly, and then let it get dry, and then you can water again. So another indication this plant could give you, since my plant is bushy, I'm unable to show you, but you see this corner where the soil is there, this it'll kind of it'll shrink. The pot soil inside the pot will shrink, and you can see the gap in the corner inside. So it means this plant required water. So you can then water this plant. So there are, as I said, there are two ways that you can water. One is that when you touch a plant, they start falling if water is less in this plant. Another thing is the soil in the corner of the pot will get shrink, so that it means this plant is required water. So you can water them. Otherwise you can touch the topsoil, or 2 inches of the soil. You see, if you think the soil is dried, then only you water this plant. Do not over water, or do not water less. By both you can see leaves falling, or you can see plain stem than leaves. So you don't you don't like to see just a stem, right? You want to see leaves in this plant. Another most important thing about this plant is this light. People think about this plant is that this is an indoor plant and you can keep inside your home. Yes, you can keep this plant inside your home, but you keep this plant where you have bright indirect sunlight in your home, whether it is your living room or somewhere near window or somewhere. This plant will do good. And do not keep this plant where you have the direct sunlight, because this leaves can turn yellow and then brown, and they may fall eventually. So you can see this plant, they are green, and you don't see anywhere yellow leaves. It is just because where I'm keeping this plant, there I don't have direct sunlight. It only get the lots of indirect bright sunlight. So this, and you can see this a new leaf. So this, propagation of this plant is really easy. I would say propagation of most of indoor plants are really easy. You can you can grow them in water, and you can grow them also in soil. So I have never grown this plant in water. I won't be able to give you 100% it will grow really good in water or not, but I would suggest take a cutting anywhere. You don't have to search for a node or so. Let's say now I don't want to cut this plant because it is really doing good, so I don't want to cut this plant. Let it grow little taller, then I'll chop, and I'll make another plant. So you can basically take any air cutting, and 3-4 cuttings, and then however you want to shape, take another pot, or round pot, or any kind of a pot, but take a smaller one, and then plant it in the soil. It will really grow good. I have soiled this plant in soil directly, so that's why I can recommend you growing this plant in soil. So that basically why I'm recommending this plant to grow in soil, because in soil itself this plant growth is little slower compared to other plants. That is why I am recommending you to grow this plant directly in soil instead of water, because you have seen many plants that growing in water is comparatively lesser when you grow plants in soil. So I would recommend you to take a cutting of this plant and grow directly in soil. You can get a ready-made succulent soil mix online that you can use. Otherwise you can use garden soil, coco pit, vermicompost. This will do good, but if you are using only garden soil, which is sticky, the plant, when you water the plant, this only garden soil will contain lots of water, so the drainage problem you will have when you're using only garden soil. For drainage purpose you can use coco pit and vermicompost, so that water will not stay for long time in the soil, and plants will grow good. But if you're using only garden soil, it'll take so many days to drain the water, because of the overwater the plant may die. So always do not use only garden soil for succulent plants. So use comparatively less percentage of a garden soil for the succulent plants. Okay, that's it for today. We learned more about jade plant today, and if you think this video was informative to you and you learned something new about this plant, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And also, if you're a new viewer to my channel, please subscribe to my channel for the new updates. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.